like to be very critical when I read. I like to be very intentional when I am reading a book, and I like to sit down and think about what exactly I liked about a book and what exactly I didn't like about a book. So these are going to be pretty detailed reviews. If you don't like me really going in and analyzing what I disliked and liked about a book, then this might not be for you. But if you are someone who likes to hear the breakdown of what someone liked and didn't like about something, this will be for you. So let's get started. First we have Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This book was recommended to me by one of my online friends. I think it was supposed to be recommended to me as a gag, because when they recommended it, they were laughing. But girl, jokes on them, because I gave it a 4 stars. Ice Planet Barbarians is about a young woman named Georgie who is abducted one night by aliens, and she is said to be basically trafficked intergalactically by aliens. And so she wakes up on this ship, and there's a bunch of other women around her age who don't have family, no one's gonna miss them, and they're kept in these cages, and they're treated very poorly by these aliens, and they end up shipwrecking or crashing on another planet because something was wrong with their spaceship. So they crash landed on this planet, and they left all of these humans, and they're we're gonna leave the humans here, and we're gonna come back for them later when we have a better, spaceship. So they leave all these girls on this random ice planet, and Georgie kind of becomes the leader of the humans because she's very brave and courageous. And so they're Georgie, why don't you go out and find help for us, because you're kind of our leader, we elect you to go. I would have been no, but she's very courageous. So she goes out, and she comes across this big blue alien named Vectel. And he is basically trying to help her either get back home or just be safe on this unknown planet that they're on. When I first started reading this book, I was what is going on? What is happening? I could not take anything seriously, because it's literally a book about a big blue alien and a human girl smashing. That's the plot. But I had to remind myself. I was Jaden, you're reading a book about a big blue alien and a human smashing. Girl, turn it off. Turn off the brain. Turn it off right now. And then I was wait. Now that I've turned it off, I'm loving it. I'm loving her. I'm loving this land. I want to go to, I literally, this was my process as I read this book. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? That was the that was the process, because once you turn your brain off, this is the best time that you will ever have in your life. Just the way that Vectel and Georgie communicated alone had me kicking my feet, because was like, you know what? Why don't I just ask if they can like order it for me? Because I tried to find the book on Pango Books. This book on Pango Books, you guys, is like $30 and up. I was like, I feel like that's a little bit crazy. So I was at Barnes and they ordered it for me and it got delivered and I read it. And I gave this book a 3.95 stars. This book is about a young woman named Nell, or Bunny as she's called in the book, and she is a part of like this black ops military elite squad called the Riot Squad. And one mission, her entire squad ends up getting unalived, and she's the sole survivor. She takes some time off and then she ends up getting signed to another black ops squad. She gets assigned to a new squad, and in this new squad she's going to be a second, so like think like right hand woman to a man named Bones, who's like this crazy assassin with this like crazy reputation for being like a little bit unhinged. And so she's traveling to join this new squad when she meets these two brothers, twins, on a plane. One of them's like really friendly, really nice, like very open and like playful, and the other one is very mysterious, very standoffish, kind of rough around the edges. But he captures her attention and she captures his attention, and so what do? They hook up for the night, only to later find out when she joins the squad that she's his new second, and the entire squad actually hates her. They hate her because her squad, the Riot Squad, was supposed to show up to back up his squad. Can't remember his squad's name to save my life. And they didn't show up. They got massacred, but they didn't show up. And so his squad blames her squad because they ended up losing someone really close to him. So now they all hate her and they want her to leave, and they don't want her on their squad because they don't trust her. She's the sole survivor and everybody else died, so they're like looking at her like, what the hell happened? Also, her squad didn't show up to back his squad up, so they don't really trust her. And so it's kind of like a bully military romance of them kind of trying to make her life really hard so she'll leave. But she's a badass and she's not gonna leave without a fight, obviously. I actually had quite a bit of things to say about this book. I was very intrigued by the plot line. The plot in general was just very fascinating, like the whole military part of it. And like it's not just military, it's like black ops, so it's like even more elite than that. I thought it was so intriguing. Some couple other things that I really liked about the book were, I felt like there was a lot of character growth, especially for the MMC. It's a dark romance, so first and foremost, check your triggers. But he did something in the beginning, towards the beginning of the book, that I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't appreciate what you just did there. You're kind of on my shit list. But he had a lot of character growth, and so it didn't quite, like, it was still in the back of my mind, but he grew from it. So I will give him that. I will give him that one little thing. I feel like he had a very good character development, and you could like see the change in him from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, which I really appreciated. I also appreciated that the book was not as dark. The book was not as dark as I thought it was going to be. The trigger warnings for this book are very scary. They make you like, ooh, like I went into to see how the book was gonna wrap up, but I really was like, this book is really not for me. And so from that point on, I started skimming. My computer is so loud right now, like what the heck is going on? But yeah, I was slightly intrigued by what was gonna happen, and I didn't want to completely DNF it, but the book just really wasn't for me, and so instead I skimmed. So I'm gonna consider this a DNF because I didn't fully read it, I just skimmed it, but I know how it ends technically. This book is about a young woman named Rose, I think. Girl, I don't remember her name, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think her name is Rose. We're gonna call her Rose. A young woman named Rose who has a previously abusive father when she was a kid. And her father is like a drunk. He likes to gamble. He like gets involved with the wrong crowd. And so her father ends up selling her as like collateral for the debt that he owes this gang. It's like, think like the mafia, and it's run by these 4 brothers. So there are 4 MMCs, and so they basically own her now because her father sold her out to this gang because he couldn't pay his debt. So he's like, take my daughter. So they go and they kidnap her, and then they're like, we own you now. We could do whatever we want with you, whenever we want with you, because you are our property. Like I said, I should have read a little bit before I bought it. Yo, this is not a small book. This book is 450 pages. And the MMC initially is like, oh my god, like these guys, because she's like supposed to be like the headstrong, you know, like I'm not just gonna take anything lying down type of character, right? So initially when she gets kidnapped, she's like, oh my god, like she's literally beating them with the bat. She's knocking people out. She's a badass, okay? And so when she gets kidnapped, she's like, I'm not just gonna roll over and die. Like, I am going to fight this. I'm gonna be their worst nightmare. If they're gonna kidnap me and think it's gonna be easy, they better think again. So I'm like, okay, like I'm ready for her to like be a badass and like be causing all these problems for them. Y'all, 65 pages in, she's like, it's not so bad here. I think I'll stay. I think I kind of like it. Matter of fact, I think I kind of like the men here too. The book is 450 pages and 65 pages, and you're already having thoughts of like, oh, I kind of like it here. Like, hello, what? Like, mind you guys, these men at this point in the book, 60 something pages in, they have showed her not an ounce of kindness. They throw her in a room. They tell her, we own you. They literally tell her, we can do whatever we want with you. If we want to beat you, we'll beat you. If we want to sell you, we'll sell you. If we want to grape you, we'll grape you. We'll do whatever we want to do to you. And they don't end up doing those things. But even though there is like non-con, but simply for the fact that they give her like clothes, a house, and they don't grape her, she's like, you know, a girl could get used to this. They've done nothing to redeem the things that they've said, and like to redeem the fact that they've been shit to you. They've done nothing to show you that they truly care about you or that they're gonna be kind to you. But you're like, yeah, it's not so bad here. Like, they're not so bad. Like, they just look scary, but they're not really. Like, girl, what? Like, stand up. I think also it's so frustrating when MMCs, I say MMCs because that's usually how it goes, but it could be an FMC too. But I hate nothing more than when an MMC is an awful person, and then the people around him or even him is like, I had a rough childhood. Give him grace, he had a rough childhood. Give him grace, he's No. So in books they try to use that as an excuse for like a redemption for an MMC who literally has never apologized, and we're just supposed to forgive him because his life was hard. Girl, what? All of them are rude, all of them are mean, all of them are a little forceful. Like I said, there's non-con, but we're supposed to forgive and forget because his life was hard. Mind you, her father was abusive. I had a hard life too, and you don't see me walking around acting a fool. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The book also moved ridiculously fast. There was a smut scene every fucking chapter. Like, I don't want to see someone having sex every fucking chapter. And I love good smut. I love a good smut. But every chapter, I don't know, I think that the writer felt like they had to move quickly because they're probably like, okay, we have 4 FMCs, we have to get through all of them. But it's like, slow down, Savannah. Like, there was also some kinks in this book that I just didn't quite understand. I couldn't quite relate to. Not like shame and a kink, because as long as it's like consensual, do whatever you want to do. But I just personally could not connect to it, and so I also was like very disconnected. I don't know, this book was just, I just personally don't understand men in books that do horrible things to women and then never really have to make up for it. Like, they never really apologize, they never really grovel, because it's like, in my mind, I'm interpreting that as men can do whatever and a woman will always take them back. And I hate that. The fun part about reading a dark romance or reading something where the man does something horrible is watching him atone for that. Watching him grovel. Watching him beg and plead on his knees. If he's not doing that, I don't want it. So sorry. Not for me. Okay, next. We read Problematic Summer Romance. Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. Problematic Summer Romance. Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. Okay, I picked this up because I had read 2 dark romances in a row. Do not recommend. Space them out. And my brain was literally fried from it. I was like, I can't. I need something lighthearted, something fun, something bright. And so when I was in the store and I saw this, I was like, I think this is what I need right now. So I picked it up. I was really excited because I've only read one Allie Hazelwood book, but I really enjoyed it. And so I was like, okay, I feel like I can trust you right now to give me what I'm looking for. And so this was the next thing we read, and unfortunately I did not love it, and I gave it a 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars. In this book we have Maya, who is our FMC, and she has to go to Italy for her brother's wedding. And in Italy, she is going to see her brother's best friend, Connor. Maya and Connor kind of had a hidden friendship, like a hidden flirtatious friendship that almost went somewhere, but in the end, they just decided not to go there. And so they haven't seen each other in like a year. But at this wedding, it's going to be the first time that she is seeing Connor, and there's still feelings there. There's still a little something going on there. And so the book is basically like them trying to navigate as a reader. Y'all know that I hate the time jumps. I hate the back and forth between the present and the past. Y'all know I hate that so bad. Y'all know I hate that so bad. This book was a lot of that. Every other chapter we were jumping back into the past to figure out what happened between Maya and Connor, because like I said, they were like, for like 3 years they became best friends slash low-key wanted each other, but it was a secret. They didn't really tell anybody, and then something happened and it made them stop talking for like a year, and so the book keeps jumping between the past and the present to like help us kind of figure out what happened. And I didn't understand why, because the thing that happened was so insignificant and not important and not dramatic in any way in the slightest. You could have literally just told me that. I didn't have to keep going back and forth. And then the flashbacks were literally like, one chapter would be a flashback and it would be them going to the park, going to a cookout, eating popcorn while they're on the phone. I did not need this random flashback that held no significance to the plot. I didn't need it. I did not need it. I did not need it, especially when all of the like tension and angst was in the present timeline and we kept going back for no reason. It was so irritating. And then when we would go back to the present, I felt like nothing was happening. Like the story was moving very slowly because we kept spending so much time in the past, but nothing important was happening in the past either. So it's like, what's happening? I felt like nothing is happening. I felt like it was cute, but I just felt like the first 200 pages, there was really nothing juicy, nothing like super intriguing happening. It was just kind of whatever. I felt like some of the writing was a little bit hard to understand. Okay, I think this is just Ali Hazelwood's writing style maybe, because I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and in that book there's a lot of use of like big words and stuff that are like not the average person knows what that means. So I found myself reading certain sentences and I would be like, girl, what are you trying to say? Like, can you dumb it down a little bit for me? Dumb it down a little bit, like use smaller words. Like, and I had this problem with Deep End too. But in Deep End, the FMC and the MMC were like geniuses. So I thought that was why it was so hard to understand. But I think that this is just Ali Hazelwood's writing style. I don't know. I just felt like nothing really happened. The book finished. It concluded very easily. The problem was solved very easily. It was just kind of whatever. Also, the 15-year age gap. I have nothing wrong with the age gap. You do what you want to do. I've been in like an age gap relationship before. So like I can't judge any like age gap relationships. However, the 15-year age gap threw me off because he knew her when she was a child. When she was like 12, he was 27. Because her parents end up passing away, and so her older brother gets custody of her when she's like 12 or 13. And at that point, he's 15 years older than her, so he's like 27. And he knew her then. So I'm like, they weren't close or anything like that back then. Like, he barely saw her, but I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know, y'all. It was just, I think that this is probably going to go on my Pinko books because I'm never going to pick it up again. I will say though, if you liked This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune, I think you'll like this book. I feel like they have very similar vibes to them. Very similar vibes. This one's just a little bit lighthearted and like less serious than that one. This one's like a little bit more of like rom-com-y. That one was like very serious, but they have very similar vibes to them. I think you'll like this book if you like that book. Okay, again, ignore my computer. I've already been talking for like an hour and a half, even though this video is definitely not going to be that long. So my Evan is his name. The first book is about Connor, and they're twins. Connor and Evan are twins. So I keep saying Connor, but it's not even Connor, it's Cooper. Oh, brother. She's doing all of this terrorizing the town with Evan, who is her childhood sweetheart, and he is literally the male version of her. He is terrorizing the town with her, and they're kind of toxic, you know, like they're the couple that fight just so they can have makeup sex, you know, like they're starting fights for no reason. They're having all of these issues for no reason. Like they're just kind of toxic together. They bring out the wild side in one another. And one day Genevieve wakes up and she realizes, I don't like the person that I am. I don't like the person I've become. I'm a mess. I cause problems for everybody. I am irresponsible. I am literally going to end up in jail or probably an early grave if I don't clean up my life. And so she decides to skip town one day, and she doesn't really tell anybody. Not even her, like not any of her friends. And definitely not Evan, who is heartbroken because he's the love of her life, or she's the love. You get what I'm saying? But a year later, her mother ends up passing away, and so she has to come home for her mother's funeral. And guess who walks through the door of her house to pay his respects? Evan. And from there, Evan is like, I never stopped loving you. I want to be with you still. And Genevieve she's like, I don't want to be with you. I don't like the person that I am with you. We're toxic together. I have been trying so hard to clean up my act, and I feel like if I get back with you, I'm gonna fall back into my old habits. And so he's like, I'll clean up my act too then. We'll be cleaned up together. And so the book is just basically him trying to show her that he can also fit into this new lifestyle of hers and win her back. It's a second chance at love kind of thing. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a good, like, it felt like cozy, like a little cute little like country read. I imagine the town being like very cute. I just like the vibe of the town. Like the vibe of the town just felt very much like, if you guys have ever read the book, or excuse me, if you guys have ever seen the movie Safe Haven, I think Julianne Hough is in it. If you've ever seen that movie, that's what this town felt like in all of the books. In all of the books, just like imagine that town, but like renovated and like starting to like be like very modern. I really liked our FMC. I really liked our MMC. I really liked them together. When I was reading the book, I imagined the NMC as Jensen Ackles, Dean Winchester. If you know, you know. He just kind of gave me the vibe of him. I don't know, I really liked it. The reason why I got 3 stars was because I felt like there wasn't a whole lot happening. Like it was just pretty chill. It wasn't like as much drama as I thought we were going to be getting. Like I thought this was going to be like really juicy, and it just wasn't. Like the whole thing was just pretty chill. But I still really enjoyed the vibes. So I gave it like a 3 stars. Okay, next we have The Graham Effect. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. I read too much Elle Kennedy. I'm really trying to stray away from her, but I'm trying to like wrap up some of the series that I've started from her. And I had this book for a while, so I was like, I might as well just knock it out. This is another series of hers, like a series of standalones. It's a trilogy in I believe it's called the Campus Diaries series. And again, it's like an interconnected standalone. This book is about our FMC Gigi Graham, who is a female hockey player. She is the daughter of this like hockey legend, Garrett Graham, and she is working really hard to be closing down, and because she goes to a college called Briar University, and it's like an Ivy League school, and they got the funds, so they end up kind of acquiring almost Eastwood, which is like the rival school, and so Eastwood and Briar kind of become like one school basically, and so all of the hockey players from Eastwood are now Briar hockey players, and some of them are obviously not going to be able to stay on the team because that would be too big of a team. So they're trying to like figure out who's going to stay on the team, who's going to be starters, all this good stuff. And Gigi ends up realizing that Lick Ryder that she met when she was like 16 is now going to her school, technically on her hockey team. And so, like I said, she's trying to make Team USA, and she's trying to better herself so that way she can make the team. And Luke wants to also like fix his reputation and just make connections in the hockey world. And so he goes to her and he's like, hey, your dad is a famous hockey player. I want to do his training camp in the summer. Can you put in a good word for me? And she is like, sure, if you train me, if you like help me out with some stuff that I need help with, sure. So that's how they kind of start dealing with each other. I feel like I explained that really bad. I'm so sorry. But this book was very interesting because Gigi Graham, our FMC, is the daughter of Garrett Graham and Hannah from The Deal. If you guys are familiar with this book by Elle Kennedy, the two main characters from this book have a daughter, and that is our FMC in this book, Gigi Graham. So it's very cool. A lot of the people from that series is in this series, so it's very fascinating to read a book and then the main characters from that book have a child, and then the child grows up, and then the child gets her own book. Elle Kennedy is like infamous for that. She loves a good like family tree. I've never read The Deal, but I own it, so I think I will read it now because I've never been intrigued to read it, but now having read this, I'm definitely intrigued to read it. I gave this book 3.75 stars. I did really enjoy this book. I think out of all the hockey romances that I've ever read in my life, this is the first one that I've read that actually has a lot of hockey. Surprisingly enough, majority of hockey romances I feel like barely have any hockey. This one had quite a bit of it because our FMC is a hockey player as well as our NMC, so it was really cool to like see her be this amazing like athlete as well as him. I really like the dynamic between our FMC and NMC. He is very like quiet, doesn't really like to talk, and she's the type of person that gets like uncomfortable with silence, and so it's a very interesting dynamic between the two of them, which was very cute to see. Very cute to see. The reason why I think it only got 3 stars for me was because, or 3.7 stars, was because the first like 100 pages, I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I felt like, again, nothing really all that interesting was happening. But after like the first 100 pages, I did really start to like really enjoy the book. The one thing that was a little bit annoying though was, so like I said, Briar and Eastwood are rival schools, and they it's like a whole family tree of like the children from that series are in this series and they're friends, and even like even Garrett Graham and Hannah were in this book a lot, especially towards the end. So it's a great, it came together. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, last we have The Last Resort by Kay Bromberg. The Last Resort by Kay Bromberg. This book was honestly just a filler because I was waiting on some books that I ordered to come in and I had nothing that I really wanted to read. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go to Barnes and look at the first book that looks interesting to me, and we're gonna get that. And that just so happened to be this book. And unfortunately, I did not love her. I gave her like a 1.5 to 2 stars. This book is about our FMC named Sutton, and she's in a pretty controlling and like verbally and mentally abusive relationship that she's been in for quite some time, to the point where she literally would not take promotions at her job because he did not want her career to be above his career. He didn't want her to like excel to the point where like she didn't need him anymore. And one day her friend finally gets through to her and she has an epiphany, and so she ends up dumping him and taking a promotion at work. And so to celebrate, her friends like, let's go out, let's get a drink, let's go to this really nice expensive club. And so they do just that. I just joked so hard. My eyes are probably watering. Anyway, her friends like, let's go out to this club, let's celebrate, like, you're single, you just got a promotion, life is good, let's live it up. And so Sutton agrees and they go out to this club. She meets this mystery man. It just got so dark, it's about to rain. She goes out to the club, she meets this man, and she's like, you know what, I'm single, I want to live life. So she goes back to his suite and they end up having a wild night of just continuous canoodling. And the next day she has to go to a meeting with the owners of the resort that she's going to be like helping to like bring back to its glory. But when she walks into that meeting, she sees the face of the man who she just canoodled all night times 3. She sees his face times 3 because he's a triplet. And now she's going to be working for him. And the crazy part is she doesn't know which triplet it was that she canoodled all night, because she never got his name. The entire night they were calling each other by the drink that they ordered at the bar. So she was calling him Johnny Walker and he was calling her Tom Collins. And so now she's like trying to figure out if the one that she slept with is the one that's going to be going with her to the resort. And it's a messy mess. Honestly, this book it wasn't the best thing ever. Like, I don't know, it was, to be fair, the book does say a spicy novel at the top, or a spicy romance or whatever. I didn't see that. And the strongest thing about this book is the spice, and that's it. You don't get a lot of development. There was a lot of long tangents for no reason. The MMC and the FMC kind of acted brainless. Like, they acted like sex was like the only thing on their mind at all times and they couldn't think about anything else. Like it controlled them or something. Like, it was so annoying by that. Like, I was just annoyed because I'm like, that's not how normal people react. Like, normal people can still function even if they're horny. Like, there wasn't like a non-sexual this was